one other note about Beyond Grateful, you mentioned Omkara, the dam. She was 0 for 3 on the racetrack. This is her first foal. She was bred by Godolphin. Whenever I see a horse bred by Godolphin, I assume that up the pedigree there's some nice horses. Because I don't think Godolphins generally deal with lesser stock.
And she ran okay in those 3 races. I think 2 of them were on turf, and she ran pretty well in those 2 turf races. But that doesn't give us a lot to go by with a 2-year-old dirt race. But
True.
Nevertheless, that I just like the sales price. They must have liked this guy's appearance as well.
Yes. And then finally, before we move on, don't want to spend too much time on this first race, but Swung, I put in there as a 3rd pick. Swung has a half-sister that's now a 3, but when she was 2, she won her first 2 starts on Tapeta. I don't know if that makes any difference or not. The Dam Queensgate won 4 races but took 11 tries to break her maiden. But nonetheless, Swung comes from a barn that, small sample size, does seem to send him out running, Matt Williams. So I threw him in there for 3rd. And his works seem to be okay from just on paper.
It's just, I mean, you're going to have to run above par to win this first race.
Yeah.
So I think it's a 3-horse race, but we'll see.
On to the second. Got a movie to show you here in racing terms. I love how they call video movies.
Yeah.
Watch number 2 in the solid blue. That is Belle Blaze. She'll be easy to see. She doesn't get away very well here. Let's go ahead and watch this 5-furlong turf race. She gets out last. Now follow that number 2 filly. This is her debut. She's 6-1. The favorite is 9-5. That's Nancy Lynn. But watch our 2 horse. She's in front of 2 rivals now, 3rd last. She's going to make up ground under David Cabrera. You know, it's not unusual to see a firster get out a little sluggishly, but, you know, she's picking them up a little bit here. She's gone by that back group. Now she's 4th last, so now she's about mid-pack. And I thought this was a pretty nice debut. Her Buyer Fig pales in comparison to the favorite in this race that we have coming up today. But now she angles just off the rail into the 2-path. She's still in that 2nd flight now. You can see David Cabrera throwing her some crosses there. Now he gets right-handed. She's going to come up here and run 3rd behind these 2 duelers. I like the way she finished. Didn't like the way she started. A little better start. She might have been lapped on those horses at the end instead of being 2+ lengths back.
Right.
I'm going to take her. One of the fillies who was up the track in that race was Go Purple, who came back to just run a hole in the wind since then. And she was the 5th wagering choice, Belle Blaze was, in that race. That was a competitive race, but she was the 5th choice at 6-1. So, and completely messed up the start. I'm going to take her over Saltwater Taffy, which, you know, this may be, as you like to put it, a layup for Saltwater Taffy. Her Buyer Figs dwarf everybody in here. But, you know, she is 0 for 9. But, you know, her tracks that she's run at have been nice, and her performances have been consistent.
Yeah.
I'm just going to try to beat her.
Yeah, especially if you throw out the turf routes and the synthetic races, and you see in Saltwater Taffy 2 turf sprints as a 2-year-old, one at Alice, one at Kentucky Downs. They're both in the money finishes. Very nice buyers for a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Move forward to a 3-year-old, twice at Gulfstream Park. Once again, 2 in the money finishes. Since then, it's been privately purchased by Austin Gustafson, so he owns and trains this horse. The previous trainer's Mark Casse, so, you know, it's hard to move one up. He's one of America's, you know, best premier trainers, so, you know, it's not like Austin's got to move this horse up. He may not have to win this race.
Right.
If he can just keep this filly running like, you know, Mark Casse had her running, she's going to be tough to beat. But like you said, just 2 breezes, hasn't run since February. You know, I mean, I would assume if Austin wasn't too thrilled, he'd probably run in a maiden 20. He keeps her in maiden special weights thinking he can win. And I do like Belle Blaze in the fact that I went back and looked at the speed figure. I do the Buyer figures for Lone Star. And every horse that has run back out of that race has run, say, 3 to 10 points faster than they did in that race, which isn't totally unusual because most of them are really lightly raced and horses do improve generally as they run more. But the bottom line is I put a plus sign by that 46 thinking to myself, you know, she's going to run much better than a 46 today.
That's what I'm thinking here. Saltwater Taffy, her past record indicates that, even though she's not dropping in class, I mean, she's still a maiden specials. How does a maiden special at Gulfstream or on the synthetic at Turfway compare to our maiden specials? Remains to be seen. I mean, those purses are higher. Doesn't automatically mean the horses are better, but she could just whistle based on some of these past races. But what gets me about her, the only reason I'm trying to beat her, she doesn't seem to have any real discernible style. She's not a front runner, even though she did make the lead in a route race last time, but she's not speedy necessarily. Mm-hmm. She also isn't a big come from behind her. She's kind of a styleless filly. Now, maybe the move here is going to change all that. Also, she didn't really improve that much with Lasix, and I'm kind of curious why they never put blinkers on her. I would think maybe they get her just that a little extra notch of speed somewhere along the line if they tried her with blinkers. I'm no trainer. I doubt I could pass the test.
Yeah,
but
this might, Brazilian Queen, when you think about if Belle Blaze doesn't have a lot of speed, I know she broke poorly, so we don't know yet, and Saltwater Taffy's not a front runner, I think the other 7 just aren't all that talented.
Yeah.
Brazilian Queen could open up on the 2 favorites in here and might offer value. This is first time J.R. Caldwell, too, from a stable that I know absolutely nothing about.
Right. And first time Lasix. This wasn't in the program, but okay. Brazilian Queen is first time Lasix. We just found that out today. So,
yes.
Second time blinkers, first time Lasix. She sped up a lot with blinkers.
And first time easy early lead, potentially.
Yeah,
so
and
Brazilian
first time
Queen,
Caldwell.
Yeah, I'm not going to leave her out of the mix because she could be very dangerous.
And I threw in Perdido Star. Her dam, Warpaint Annie, was a Florida bred who won 3 straight, her first 3 starts at Evangeline in her career, and I always liked precocious dams.
Yeah, and Superstar Louisiana bred Star Guitar is a sire of Perdido Star.
There you go. Randy Moss's favorite sire?
Sure
or at least
is.
he likes him.
He loves
I like him, too.
He was a great racehorse, too.
He was. Good sire, too. On to the third. 3-year-olds and up, non-winners of 2. $20,000 the claiming tag, and they're going 1 mile.
Yeah, and Sound of Victory and Zed get another matchup here. They've been, battled a couple times. They both take a lot of money when they compete against each other. I took Sound of Victory. If you look at the 2 wet track races, which, are covered by 2 really good races, Breaks his maiden at Houston and a really nice maiden special weight race. 2 wet track races, one at Oaklawn, one at Lone Star. Okay races. Got a fast track here June 6th and runs a nice race at the same level, finishing second. I just feel like the time she got beat by Zed, she had a worse trip than Zed. I don't think there's a lot separating the 2, though. Their running styles are totally different than each other. So, if you know going in that speed's going to hold, you would go with Zed. If you think it's a track where, Zed could feel pressure from Audrey's music, then you'd think Sound of Victory might have the edge. So I put PT by Sound of Victory, meaning I think he's going to get a really good trip behind 2 speedy horses. But to me, it was tough call.
Yeah, I went with Sound of Victory as well. I agree. I think she could get a really nice trip. The horse that won that race that he was in last time, Justice Department, super, super sharp and good that day. I mean, he throttled that field. And Sound of Victory was a length and a quarter clear of the third-place finisher. I would give Island Cabana a little look as well. Seems reasonably sharp, familiar with the level. Last time out was on the turf. Gets back to the dirt. It looks like he can do both about equally. I mean, he's only a one-time winner, but his dirt marks are okay, and he has a nice breeze back on the 22nd, so I threw him in there for second. And Sarah Davidson's horse is intriguing down the islands because, I mean, this guy loved that Tapeta surface at Gulfstream. I don't know how that translates to here, but he ran really well at Gulfstream in some Tapeta races. Didn't appear to like Oaklawn at all, but that's That's understandable
we
considering the competition. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I would just throw in with Confiding, closed his 2-year-old season with a really big win, maiden win around 2 turns at Remington. And since May 18th, I mean, you see some really upbeat half-furlong breezes, or half-mile breezes, I mean. So, I think Danny Fish has Confiding doing really well.
Yeah.
If he's ready to roll off the bench, and he appears so based on morning breezes, I mean, he could be a factor as well. And first-time Lasix for that 3-year-old also.
We're both on the favorite, and I think, Sound of Victory is a deserved favorite, but there's some depth in that field.
Yeah, there is depth in that field.
At least, the kind of horses that could jump up if the favorite isn't on top of his game. On to the 4th. This race is down to a 4-horse field, so win, exacta, place, and pick 5 wagering only on this race. No show, no try, no super on the 4th. Texas bred filly, non-winners of 2 other than allowance, 6 furlongs. Scratch the 2, Naval Woman. Scratch the 4, Indy La Primera. Scratch the 7, Quinquela. That leaves 4. The 4 that it leaves, though, are pretty much the ones that factored for the most part anyway.
Yeah, they all can win. All 4 of these you can make reasons, not just a reason, reasons why each of them can win this race. I went with Golly Holly originally. Every race, I mean, for 4 or 5 consecutive races, has been better than the previous race. I like the last 2 races on the main track sprinting, a big maiden special weight win at Houston, and then a really sharp, entry-level allowance win here at Lone Star. Tried turf, Steve Asmussen did last time, and once again improved his number, running against some really quality turf sprinters there. So I just like her upward trajectory, but she is so far from a cinch. I did want to just quickly mention Honest, because he's got that buyer figure that kind of jumps out in the blue bonnet, that 77. That was such a weird race because everybody ran the best number of their career except Too Much Kiki, who ran an abysmal number.
Right.
And she always runs 89s. I mean, just super. And she ran to that field. I mean, she was all out.
It was life and death.
Field.
Well, and she dead heated for win. It was life and death to do that with a late bid. But, so everybody else ran their best by a good margin, but she ran down to everybody else's best.
Yeah, she really did. I've always put with that number a question mark. I don't understand how everyone could have run so well and she ran so bad. I just question the figure. And since Honest, 3 more races and none of them are, have been the numbers anywhere near what she got in the blue bonnet. I don't know. But I will say one thing about Honest, even though I made her 8-1, and she'll be shorter now with only 4 horses, but she's been running in open company the last 2 starts, so don't, put that against her, that she hasn't been closer at the wire. This is a much easier spot.
Yeah, the Memorial Day Sprint was a tough race to begin with. She maybe didn't like the slop, although she does have a win on an off track. But perhaps she isn't a big fan of sealed, muddy, or sloppy tracks. The last race was okay. I mean, she hasn't run back to that blue bonnet where she was a nose away from a triple dead heat.
Amazing.
But, Golly Holly to me, I mean, you said it all. That last turf sprint was pretty good. I mean, she made up some ground, but I do think she's better on dirt. She's candified, very sharp. I mean, you can't get a much sharper filly than her right now. And Blingster, it's her first against older, and is coming off a little bit of a break, but Calhoun has just been very, very strong all meet. Clearly in the Texas Thoroughbred Association Oaks, things went very badly for her. And
she loves Houston, doesn't she? I mean, she had two stake victories.
2 romping victories there.
Yeah, it's, against straight 3-year-olds, and has to beat a few older today, but that last race, like you said, front-running route races, maybe she just doesn't want to go that far. So that's an easy excuse to make for Blingster.
On to the 5th. Start of the pick 4. Optional claimer for fillies and mares. $25,000 is the tag. Or you could be in if you're non-winners of a race this year or a non-winner of 4. Oddly enough, we do have some non-winners of 4 in here, but their horses haven't even won 3. So
looking for bargains is only 1-2, and that's the horse that I think most people think is the one to beat in here. At least I do. I looked at that time form US Pace, and I use it, from time to time. That makes no sense.
I like to look at it.
That makes no sense. She's been contesting the pace sprinting. Now she's going long, and she's a 42. Wow. Okay.
Looking for bargains?
Yeah, 42. Did you see
I've
that?
got her with a 91.
That's real interesting, isn't it?
That's been
42.
changed because
it needed to be
both
changed.
numbers have been changed. I got her with a 91 and a 65.
Okay, I feel a lot better now. I think they just tried to sabotage my PPs.
They must. You got earlier PPs than I do. You got the Bulldog edition, as we used to say in the newspaper business.
Someone doesn't want me picking W's at the racing form. Oh, my goodness. All right. Looking for bargains.
They caught it, though.
Yeah, they caught it. When you get your PPs, everything's precise. Oh, man, I got to check into this. So, looking for bargains was really showed a ton of promise for Chad Brown in 2024 at Gulfstream, and even at Saratoga as a 3-year-old. Terrific turf races there. A lot of time off. Was moved to the Todd Fincher barn, and Amada Mackley here April 20th. Really a sharp, allowance victory. Moved up in class at 7/8 of a mile, 4D place, runs a good third. If you assume that she's a lot better on turf than dirt, and the PPs tend to suggest that, she's in really good form right now, and going to her best surface, she could be tough to beat in here, but I think there's a lot of runners in here showing me a lot of promise, and I don't think it'll be easy for her, is my point.
I don't think so either. I mean, Get Ready Gal, also a 2-time winner, is in on the non-winners of 4 side because she has won a race in 2025, so she didn't qualify on that angle. And neither Looking for Bargains nor Get Ready Gal is in for the claiming tag, so I like that. It means that the trainers could have just put them in for $25,000, but they don't want to do that. And Get Ready Gal, she's run some nice races. The last 3 going back to March, and the ones here on this turf course, dead heated for 3rd last time, a pretty good 5th, a close 5th time before. I think also in open court could get a really nice trip here, depending on how the pace cooks up. In open court's a nice stalker, rallier. Mindy Willis runners usually finish well, and with Stuart Elliott, you're going to get a nice trip. I don't want to jinx him, but, I mean, he just puts horses in such good spots.
Yeah, and I will say Wild Express gets to save all the ground, and she ran in the Wasted Tears and Ouija board last year, was not disgraced in those 2 races, and last time out, ran a good race, but dropping in for $25,000 claimer with that good inside draw.
Yeah.
I could easily see her being a big threat.
Yeah, that's true. She likes to turf for sure. I mean, her turf record is exceptional. Okay, back to 2-year-olds. These are fillies, maiden fillies in race 6. 5/8 of a mile, maiden special weights. We have 9 going in here, and the ones that have run haven't shown a whole lot yet. We're both going with a different first-time starters in here.
Yeah, I went with Cindy Loper. I have not seen her. I mean, this is rare for me to pick a firster. This is kind of the type of handicapping I have to do sometimes when they have me handicap Monmouth for a day. I got to get this thing figured out. First of all, Francisco Bravo, very good trainer.
Yeah.
The Dam Springsteen was very quick, and multiple stakes winner against Okie Bred. She was very fast. The sire, he ran a 105 buyer figure winning his debut. That's how fast he was. I mean, that was an unbelievable debut. Then he came back and won an allowance race by about the same margin. He was very fast, had a short career. So my point is, very precocious on the top and bottom of the pedigree.
Springsteen won her first race also.
Yes.
For Bravo. I don't know if that helps, but Bravo trained the Dam, too.
Yeah,
it can't hurt.
And then I had another theory that the horse came down here and got 2 easy breezes. My thought is he's been on that Bravo farm, this unraced filly, getting fit. Comes down here, gets Lasix, gets qualified with that nice gate work. I wish I would have seen it. But I think with that inside draw, that super quick pedigree, and the fact that the ones that have run, as you mentioned, haven't shown too much. Asmussen's horse had a nice gate work, I must admit. The 49-3, 24 and change turn time. That's usually a bet for me. Typically, I just wanted to be clever in here and thinking I'm on board with Mr. Francisco Bravo, Cindy Loper, because to me, off pedigree, she's got to be ready to run.
Yeah, I agree. I picked her second myself. I went with Double L's Army, largely because it's hard to pick against Gellner now in these two-year-old races. I mean, he's had them coming out firing. The Dam Country Club was a 4-time winner. Didn't earn a lot of money. It was just a claiming type mare, but she did win 4 out of 24, mostly at Laurel and Penn National. So, nothing necessarily exceptional there, but the works look okay, and she has an outside draw. Into Sense, the Dam Northern Deputy has produced a ton of horses. She's an old mare who has produced a bunch, many of whom have won, so she'd certainly be no surprise. Cindy Loper, I noticed that not only is the Dam Springsteen 2 words, a play on the boss, but all the names in that family are plays on rock and roll artist names like Cindy Loper. So you got to like that. I'm looking forward to hearing a little Cindy Lauper music today between races. That would be really cool.
Underneath, I mean, anything could happen.
Yeah.
Even KK's first dance broke dead last and finished with pretty good energy. And it's with 2-year-olds, it's interesting because they gain a lot from having a race. Just that experience, they can improve, they can improve 15, 20 buyer points. I mean, that's not an exaggeration. You see that with 2-year-olds. So, it's interesting. Scott Young, he's great trainer. We didn't mention his horse. Girls Nicks now. But you see some pretty solid works there, too. And she wasn't a cheap filly either. So there's a lot of options. I'm saying underneath. Of course, saying underneath, that assumes I got the winner. And I'm not,
right.
I'm not very confident that I do.
We'll operate with confidence.
Yeah, there you go.
Scott Young's other filly, and here's my 4th pick, the 6 Cool American Babe. Like that other one you mentioned, KK's First Dance. I mean, she was well beaten, but she was 5-1 in her debut, so somebody liked her, and it was against More Force, who just dusted that field. So, Cool American Babe, if she improves, she could. People thought she could run. So she's a homebred from Oklahoma.
Yeah, when you're 5-1 in that field that she hooked up with the first time out, I mean, obviously someone at the barn or somewhere just knew that she would be competitive and just didn't work out for her. But she's had a breeze since then, so we'll see.
Wouldn't be the biggest surprise if she factored in there somewhere.
No.
On to the 7th. Scratch the 5, Hank Ridge, race 7, 6.5 furlongs, Texas bred, maiden claimers for $7,500. The top 2 morning line choices in here, Red 47 and 6 Iron, both come out of the same race, and it was a while ago. It was May 10th. I like it when they kind of come out of the same race. You get a little bit of a, head-to-head comparison, and we've gone with the opposites. You've gone with Jalen Clary, and I've gone with Mindy Willis.
Yeah, I think I'm more arrogant than you because I think I can get Clary to the winner's circle. I mean, she's 0 for 34. Today's the day, though, for her. Of course, Ramon Vasquez will think it's because he rode her. I'm the same because I picked her.
It's an interesting move, too, because, I don't think – I mean, Clary has only ridden Vasquez one time in the course of these statistics, and yet they're going for the leading rider here and taking off a guy who's just run second on her 3 times in a row pretty competitively. So that's an interesting jock move.
Yeah, it is. Red 47, 2 starts back, that close second-place finish. The winner was 1-2, okay? So, typically that would make you think, oh, next time out, he's going to run a heck of a race. Well, Uptown, 2 under par.
Yeah.
He gets an easy lead.
Yeah.
He gets an easy lead, and Red 47 couldn't run him down. So here we got with chance, to me, number 3. Now you got Ramon Vasquez, 6.5 furlongs. That's going to put him even closer, I think, to the lead in this spot. And, those last 3 races, he's as sharp as a cheap maiden claimer can be. I'm going to give him one more try.
And I'm going to lean towards 6 Iron. I like the work pattern since that May 10th race. Broke slowly that day, but made a really nice middle move for Stuart Elliott, who maintains the mount. Elliott put this horse right up into contention. You can see he was second, behind Uptown 2 under par in the upper stretch. Wound up losing second to Red 47. There wasn't a big gap between the two, a length and a quarter between the two of them. But that was 6-iron's debut. He's 4. Red 47 is more experienced, but is 3. 6-iron's had a little time off, has had some time to work.
Mm-hmm.
It's a close call for me, but I went ahead and went 9-4.
Yeah, it's a close call for
I'd be a little surprised if any of the others won. That's not to say none of them have a chance, but I'd be a little surprised. I mean, He's Charming has never run for this low a claiming tag, but he is 0 for 14. So, and he's going turf to dirt. He's found ways to not break his maiden before.
Yeah, maybe Irish Billy. I mean, he had a trainer change last time to Sean Davis, and he led for 6 furlongs before fading just a touch late as the favorite. Now 6.5 furlongs after a front-running route. His buyer will have to improve for
Don't
sure.
Don't stare at the buyer for him, but, I mean, who cares about – I mean, at this level, sometimes I fixate a little too much on the buyer. I mean –
they did go pretty slow, so he should have been on top.
Yeah,
I mean, at 49, 1, 15, and 1, but he's cutting back.
He could run better.
An improved trainer. I could see him, running much better today.
He could. 8th race wraps it up. Carry over in the high five, $5,302. I think this is a tough one. Scratch the 10, Chief Brady. Very competitive Texas bred optional claiming sprint on the turf.
Yeah, I took a long shot in the 2-hole with Ramon Vasquez's horse, and you may have picked the horse. I don't know, Rags Royal Prince.
No, I did not. I'm actually going all the way outside to the 12.
Yeah, I mean, this turf course is playing very fast right now. Not necessarily like favoring speed to get to the lead, you win, but the track is very fast. That's why I thought Rags Royal Prince might be, an interesting horse at a better price. But I took Bling, Bling, Bling. Last time out, basically the exact same state-bred, optional claiming condition, and won, and he was favored that day. So using a lack of imagination, if you're the favorite and you come back in the same spot, you should be difficult to beat in here. But, the 12 horse, did you pick the 12?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that. That horse has been, he's been facing much better. If you can make an excuse in the Chamberlain Bridge, which of course you can, breaks bad, and he was badly overmatched.
Yeah.
So,
and that was a race run on the yielding turf, and as one of the stewards said, beaver pelts were being flown up in the air. That was a really yielding turf course.
Right.
And he might not have liked that, but mainly he didn't like the competition. But the 2 races before that, turf sprints, both against Open Company, he was pretty good.
He was.
Bang on. I think him and Bling 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 are pretty even. He gets back to reality here, but I do think if he runs back, and this is not an easy thing to predict, but if he runs back to those early Lone Star races in the spring, he probably beats this field. But that's stated. Bling 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 comes out of a really nice race, seems to like this course, and is pretty much always competitive turf sprinting and even dirt sprinting. So those 2 match up well. Rags Royal Prince, I have second. We both have second. He's gotten very quick since he added shades.
Yes.
He's really fast and goes from one good barn to another, from Caldwell to Ashford, first-time Ashford. He can move him up. First time out, he has a good number. So definitely Rags Royal Prince, might be the first one to see the crowd, as they say, when they turn for home.
Yeah, well, one more time, finished very close to Bling, 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 and much more lightly raced. So if you're looking for someone who might have a better chance to improve than the favorites do, go for lightly raced horses that are starting to show that they understand what they're supposed to do. So do know Vasquez took off that horse. Of course, we don't know the inner workings, but I assume he's riding your horse. Who is Vasquez on now?
He's on Rags Royal Prince.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he went for the speed horse.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, there is contention in this race. I do think your horse, now that I look at it, I wish I'd have flipped them on odds, not on pick.
Oh,
I got a feeling Unbridled Bling might go slightly favored off those previous races, but we'll see. I'm going to have to bet a lot to be right on my horse. So.
Yeah, well, my horse, even though he was in opens against better, was a bit of a long shot in both of those.
True.
So, you're seeing double-digit odds for him for, going down 4 races.
Right. So we'll see.
Should be a good race.
Good races
that's a really
today,
good race.
aren't they? The more we talked about them, the more I started losing confidence. These are good races.
Well, I lose confidence every time I leave the chair, and then sometimes I regain it when I get back upstairs.
There you go.
All right. Well, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
For today, we'll be back. Hey, we got July 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th racing coming up.
Yep.
So 5 p.m. post for the Lone Stars and Stripes post-race fireworks days this Thursday and Friday. It's coming right up.
Yep.
Hard to believe it already, but so a 4-day week of racing. Are you just going to be back on the weekends as far
Saturday,
as you know?
Sunday again.
All right. Well, enjoy the week. And thanks a lot for being here today, and good luck. First post in 31 minutes. In the event of an emergency, Lone Star Park is dedicated to ensuring the safety of our patrons.